I am sure that my partner gained access to my phone and is monitoring me. I no longer understand what is real and what isn't. I am living in a constant state of stress and fear. It feels like the person I live with is systematically hiding the truth from me, lying, and possibly has full access to all of my digital data. I can't tell whether this is paranoia, or whether I have actually become the target of surveillance. My partner works in a technical field. He is an electrician, but not the kind who just changes outlets. He understands systems, devices, and smart technology very well. That's exactly why I can't shake the thought that if anyone were capable of doing something like this, it would be him. How it all started. In February, our family ordered several new devices at once. The very next day, we received a strange phone call. A man introduced himself as a representative of our mobile carrier and said that one of the phones we had ordered as new was actually refurbished. He called several times, knew our home phone number, and insisted that he would call back in the evening to discuss it with my partner. But he never called again. On March 12th, the carrier received all of our old phones and, as we were told, completely reset them to factory settings. About 3 weeks later, in early April, I received a notification that my TikTok account had been hacked. Both my email address and phone number were removed from the account. Support later told me the login came from a Samsung Galaxy S22 in a different state. That deeply unsettled me, because that exact S22 was the phone I had recently returned to the carrier. Around the same time, I received a notification about suspicious activity on my eBay account. The first warning signs. In early April, I used my partner's phone and noticed that his WhatsApp was protected by fingerprint authentication. He had previously only used biometrics for banking apps. That immediately raised red flags. On May 1st, with his permission, I used his tablet. We always said we had nothing to hide from each other. I checked his Google activity history and saw dozens of WhatsApp launches, including late at night. He claimed he only used WhatsApp for work and never outside business hours. I also noticed strange activity, access to files, gallery, and cloud services at times when he said he was asleep. Through his Google account, I accessed the carrier's cloud storage and found recently deleted photos of a female coworker, as well as random explicit images. Another detail: his WhatsApp contacts included women's names with added notes. I wrote down about a dozen numbers and photographed his activity on my own phone. When I confronted him, he admitted that years ago he had messaged women and received photos, but insisted that nothing like that was happening now. And then the strangest part began. A few days later, my own phone started behaving inexplicably. All my photos disappeared. Thousands of them. The only images left were screenshots of his Google activity. Apps started freezing, the phone rebooted itself, and I felt like the camera was turning on by itself. I discovered a broadcast channel created in my name, something I had never created. In the settings, I saw a message saying certain apps required IT administrator permissions, even though I obviously had no IT administrator. I'm a stay-at-home mom. By May 6th, the phone looked completely broken. Apps wouldn't open, deleted apps reappeared, and the system contained files dated January 1st, 1980 that couldn't be opened. The next day, things got even worse. My text messages turned into strings of random letters and numbers. When opened, they all displayed the same repeated image. Even worse, new messages appeared that I had never sent or received before, with disturbing phrases like, "He's back. I'm watching you." My partner acted as if nothing unusual was happening and told me I was imagining everything. Replacing the phone didn't fix anything. On May 7th, I tried to perform a factory reset, but the phone refused. A message appeared: "Contact your carrier." Even customer support couldn't reset it remotely. Samsung later stated that the device was damaged at a system level and agreed to replace it. On May 9th, I received a new phone. I told my partner I was afraid to log into my accounts again. He offered to restore my data himself using his laptop and repeatedly insisted that he needed access to my cloud account. That made me uneasy. We kept my old phone number. And the moment the new phone was activated, everything started again. The same messages. The same glitches. I immediately changed my number, created new accounts, new passwords, and even kept a separate notebook for them. But login attempts continued. Why I no longer believe this is just a coincidence. I discovered that my Facebook account had been accessed from devices I had never used, including my partner's laptop. My new WhatsApp account was temporarily blocked due to synchronization issues with other devices that I do not own. I saw remote control and monitoring apps in his account that only appeared after we updated our devices. He denied using them. Every time I brought this up, he became angrier and insisted that everyone is being watched, and that my anxiety was my own problem. Why I'm so afraid? I am not afraid of possible infidelity. He knows that isn't a forbidden topic for me. What terrifies me is the lying, the scale of secrecy, and the feeling that someone is methodically dismantling my sense of reality and making me look insane. I don't know whether this is sophisticated technical manipulation, psychological abuse, or something else entirely. But I know one thing, this is not normal, and I cannot live like this anymore. I have screenshots, evidence, records. But I don't know how to properly document everything or what steps to take next to make this finally stop. I'm asking for advice. I need to understand what is really happening, and how to protect myself legally, technically, and psychologically. Update 1. I tried to check myself, and it became even scarier. After posting my story, I decided to pause and avoid making drastic moves. Honestly, part of me still hoped I was overreacting, that there was a simple explanation and that I had worked myself into panic. I decided to start with the basics, to check myself. I went to a professional. I scheduled an appointment with a psychologist. I said directly, I need to know whether this is an anxiety disorder, or whether something truly abnormal is happening. We carefully reviewed the timeline, my reactions, my mental state before all the technical issues and after them. And here's what mattered most to me. The psychologist found no signs of psychosis, delusions, or loss of contact with reality. He said I was under severe stress and anxiety, but my logic, memory, and coherent thinking were intact. This was not proof that I was being hacked, but it disproved the idea that I was losing my mind. I changed my behavior. I completely stopped discussing this with my partner. No accusations. No questions. No attempts to catch him in contradictions. And something strange happened. As soon as I went silent, the number of strange incidents dropped sharply. The phone still glitches sometimes, but no more threatening messages. No spontaneous text changes. No sudden bursts of account activity. Coincidence? Maybe. But before, every conversation triggered a new wave of chaos. I checked one more detail. I revisited the contacts with women's names and strange notes. I rechecked several of them and noticed. Some numbers no longer exist. Some lead to empty or auto-generated pages. Some don't register as real SIM cards at all. This doesn't prove surveillance. But it doesn't look like ordinary, old conversations either. His behavior grew colder. He began to avoid talking about the future. Get irritated if I looked anxious. Repeat that I was obsessing and should let it go. At the same time, he never suggested consulting an independent IT specialist together. Offered to change his own devices. Agreed to any transparent review. The most important realization. I stopped trying to prove anything to him. I started trying to understand it for myself. Right now I am documenting every new irregularity. Backing up data outside the house. Preparing for a legal consultation, even if it seems excessive. I still don't know what is truly happening. But I know this for certain. Someone with nothing to hide does not act indifferent, while their partner lives in fear. If anything else happens, I will update. Update 2, final. I stopped it, and got out alive. I debated for a long time whether to write this update. Not because I had nothing to say, but because this is the moment when illusions finally collapse, and there is no way back. I stopped looking for proof. I started removing myself from the system. I did what he didn't expect. I left. No fight. No warning. I said I needed space to calm down. And this is crucial. The moment I physically removed myself from him and his devices, everything stopped. No strange messages, unauthorized logins, account lockouts, threatening notifications. The phone worked perfectly. The accounts were clean. Not a single issue. Not gradually. Immediately. The final check. In my new location, I consulted an independent IT specialist. Not someone I knew. Not someone recommended. Someone neutral. We checked my phone, my accounts, login logs, recovery history, network activity. The verdict was careful but chilling. Your old device and accounts showed signs of external interference. Not a mass hack, but targeted access. This does not look like random malware. He didn't say, your partner did it. But he said something that made everything click. This was done by someone with long-term physical access, time, and motivation. His reaction said more than any evidence. When I told him I was staying elsewhere and wouldn't return until I understood what was happening, he wasn't scared. He was angry. He didn't ask how I felt, what I experienced, how he could help. He said, you ruined everything with your suspicions. Not we. You. And that's when I understood. Final realization. Even if we ignore the technology, even if half of the strange things were coincidences, the facts remain. He lied for years. Hid messages and apps. Dismissed my fear. Ignored my mental state. And every time I lost my footing, told me the problem was me. That is psychological abuse. With cameras or without. How it ended. I replaced all devices. Closed all old accounts. Communicate with him only through a lawyer. Continue therapy. I'm not trying to prove to the world what he did. I don't need anyone to believe me anymore. Because the most important thing already happened. I feel safe again. And if someone reading this recognizes themselves, if you're constantly told you're imagining things, if fear only exists next to one person, maybe the problem isn't in your head. Sometimes the most dangerous hack isn't access to your phone, but access to your reality. This is the end of the story, and the beginning of my life.